And I'm going to roll here. All right.
Here we go.
We are up and rolling. So
Let me try something real fast. If I, on my end, this is like janky as hell, but whatever, right? I like independent filmmaking. If I use do I look better if I have my flashlight on my phone? Is that better on my end? Or shall
yeah, it
I?
does brighten you up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So I will do that.
Perfect. Awesome.
I will do that, my brother.
Awesome. We are set on this end.
So now I can get some glowing going.
Yeah.
Get my good glowing look. So besides my 5 pounds of makeup I'm wearing, that's a joke.
Okay.
The man, the myth, the legend, Brian. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I am excellent, young man. I gotta admit, I love the hat.
Young man. Thank you very much.
well, so get this. So I had a student would always call me young man, refer to me young man all the time. I just loved it, just the way he says it, like so much like charm to it.
Yeah.
So like I teach all these guys who are like 2-3 times my age, all this stuff, and
wow.
I taught in a military area, so I taught a bunch of like Green Berets, believe it or not, which is wild.
Wow.
And so it's kind of the joke is I look like a 12-year-old boy. I haven't really aged in the last like 15 years, right? And so that's kind of the funny thing is like see these guys like 6'3" badasses, seasoned war veterans, just been like rocking shit. Or pardon me, are we allowed to swear? Is swearing fine?
Yeah,
I swear
this is
sweet, okay.
It's your channel, so I'm
Okay,
just
awesome.
I'm at your disposal. So
oh, sweet man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, my pleasure.
Yeah,
so tell me more about what you do exactly. Because I'll be honest, I came across your channel, saw you smoking cigars, and I was like, he needs to know about Privada Cigars. He seems like a good, positive person. These are the kind of people we want to attract. We create these experiences so you guys can, join in and join a community of people that are also doing it. Which I'd love to see you, get involved in as well. But yeah, I want to know more about you. I found you interesting, and I wanted to get you some cigars, so we did, and here we are.
Awesome, brother. And thank you so much for the cigars. I have enjoyed them immensely. I'm at the point where, so I'm someone where I used to smoke nothing but Romeo and Juliet. I used to think like I was a mild guy all around. And then if I'm going to light up this one you gave me, I'm going to do the Stallion, whatever the hell it is.
Stione, yeah.
Stione, thank you. Stione. Sometimes my enunciation is rough. But yeah, so basically about me. So I'm in my 20s. I have been sort of an entrepreneur since I was about like 17 years old.
Wow.
And so 17 years old. So basically I fell into the karate business when I was about 16 or 17 years old. My next door neighbor owned a franchise of karate schools. And so I was this homeschool kid. And so my family, we're all a little bit like nuts, a little bit intense to say the least, right? So I'm a bit of an intense personality. And so if you can't tell, so I'll try to hold back a bit. But so basically, my next door neighbor noticed the fact that as a 17-year-old boy, I was running like between 5 and 10 miles a day, and I was in Virginia, and so I would run whether it was in the rain and sunshine.
Wow.
I would run and like if it was snowing, I would like throw on snow boots and run through the snow. Like it was really ridiculous. I was really obsessed, like pushing myself to that. You know what? You need something. You need more discipline. You need something to put this energy into. You would be amazing in the martial arts business. I think you really would. And so basically, he literally grabbed me, took me under his wing, and I basically graduated for the most part. I was about 15 years old, just homeschooled, and so I needed something to do. I didn't really have good career guidance at the time, and so he took me under his wing, and I learned the business right away. I was working in the shed doing inventory for his business. I learned business inventory at first as a teenager. And then I went to doing the marketing and sales for martial arts schools. I started training, got my black belt, everything else.
Wow,
and
congratulations, man. That's huge.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And basically, he said, hey, I want you to really become amazing in the martial arts business. So I have all these schools up and down the East Coast, and you're a hell of a marketer, a really good salesperson. I want you to go to all these schools. And, you're still underage, so you can sleep in the intro room of the karate school. And that's what I did. I had a sleeping bag. I rode there, my Ford Ranger truck. I would drive down to the Carolinas, north of South Carolina. I went to New England, drove to because you're from Philly, right? So you're from Philly, which I fucking love Philly, but
I'm from New York and PA. I went back and forth my whole teenage years, but yeah.
Well, your accent, I hear your accent so much.
Yeah.
And where in New York are you from, by the way?
So I was born in Manhattan. I was raised in Allentown, PA, about an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, I guess you know where it is. And then we, at 17, I went back and I was there again for about 12 years, but I was in Manhattan and then Queens. Yeah.
Okay, so you're in between the two. And when you did that, so I noticed you mentioned that you started, it was a shipping business. And is that for vehicles, like shipping vehicles across country? Like what was that for exactly?
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to find a business called Auto Transport Brokerage, which basically you help people get their cars on trucks going to and from wherever they need to go to and from. It's a very stressful business and it's a thankless job. But it was my stepping stone. It was how I created any funding and money that I had. So to do this business. So yeah.
So you bootstrapped it and saved your money. So basically, if you don't mind me asking, so basically, I'm assuming based on your story, you basically took your time, you saved your cash, everything else, and then you used your cash cow to go do what you really wanted to do, what your real passion was, which evidently is cigars and community and bourbon and everything else.
I wish it was as predictable as that, but basically, the first part of that is 100% correct. What I did was I saved money as a game. I literally I bought when I first started making real money, 6 figures and up, and at the time 6 figures really meant something.
You're right, correct.
And I was working from home, my own boss. I was pimping,
which is amazing, by the way.
I got the Range Rover. I bought, I was living in Tampa, which is where I fell in love with cigars, and so I got suits. I would go out to all these great places. When you're young, it's fun to wear suits because it's like you're playing dress up a little bit, and I really enjoyed that a lot.
I can see the douchebag in my hat, but I always rock my blazer basically everywhere I go. Like this is how I dress too. So I relate. I got the same.
That's very martial arts of you.
Yes,
I like it though, man. It's cool.
Yeah. Well,
you're like a young Tom Cruise in his prime.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot.
He's an amazing person. I mean, the guy's almost not human. If you hear his co-stars talk about him and his training and the things that he does for these roles, it's really an honor that we get to watch him on the screen. I'm a fan, on screen for sure. So I was making money, and I was like, I learned very quickly not to blow it on stuff. So after I got the Range Rover, which wasn't brand new, and I got the, couple of things I wanted, a nice watch, stuff like that. I was like, okay, I already knew that there was an expiration date on my work ethic or my work and my energy, not work ethic. There's no expiration on my work ethic. I knew that there would be a time where I wanted to slow down, and I had chased music in my life. I was a singer-songwriter.
Really? I see that
until I was 32 years old. So I felt like I wasted my entire 20s, and I was like, I gotta make up for the time that I lost because all of my friends have been working jobs and they're getting moved up now and they're starting to make money and So I felt like I had to make up for lost time, and B, I felt like I also don't want to work forever, which I think every young person can relate to now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's when I started the cash game, and this was a fun game I would play. And I've never talked about this with anyone.
I want to hear this.
Yeah, so I got a safety deposit box at my local bank, and I would take my money out of the bank in cash, which is so ridiculous.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Fucking awesome.
I don't know why I would do this, but I loved, I would fucking, I got the boxes would get bigger, and then before you know it, I'd go in there and once a month I'd take my money because I felt like it was a clear, direct savings. There was nothing I could do to touch that money Saturday night at 4 a.m., something like that.
Right.
And no one knew I had it either.
And so I'm assuming you're a child of immigrants, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, or are you second, third generation, or no? Am I totally wrong here?
I guess I'm actually fourth generation, but
Okay.
I do have to say that a lot of the immigrant mentality with money
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
definitely handed down.
Yeah.
We didn't
Correct.
lose that very
Correct.
quickly.
Correct.
In
Well,
all other aspects, the food, the culture, religion, all that stuff we did. But when it came to money, the few things,
yeah.
the sayings, and the how to it really was a
Yeah.
guiding light for me to kind of know what to do. And I also my
Yeah.
father, if you give I mean, I hope he'll never see this,
Yeah.
but if you gave
Yeah.
that man $100,000, he will spend 93 of it.
No kidding.
Oh yeah. Oh
Interesting.
yeah. Oh, there'll be
Interesting.
a new boat or
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
Porsche or
Yeah.
something. And
Yeah.
you know what? I'm at the point now in life
You're,
where I'm 45 years old. I just turned 45, and I
happy birthday. Congratulations.
thank you. There's no right and wrong. It's what you
Correct.
want. This is your
Right.
life. You get to choose what to do with your money.
Well, yeah. Well, and so what you just said, so I relate. So I'm half Polish, right? And so my grandparents, fresh off the boat, right? So my grandparents came from, so half my family's from Texas. The other half is from Connecticut and Warwick, Rhode Island. So I relate to the mentality you're talking about
Yeah.
because they had the mentality. So the shoebox was that, like, yeah. So as a child, like I would find, like my dad would have like shoe boxes of cash, just like, again, he wants to like hidden in certain places. We'll go with that. Or like, yeah, maybe under the house, maybe it was under a floorboard every so often, like maybe. But so when I was younger and I was making good money, like, so basically I was making six figures at the time I was like 20 years old, basically, right? So
Wow.
with karate, it's a cash cow business. And so, because it's memberships. And so basically if your overhead's low enough, so I'm a big believer and I try to live really frugally. So my biggest expense, honestly, is my cigars. It's hilarious besides that. But I live really frugally. And so we were taught to save from a young age. And so my dad was very Texas mentality. And then on the other half, I had this really Northeastern mentality. So the Northeastern, typical like gas station owner, Northeast, like, you sleep with like 400,000 underneath your mattress and you live that way forever. And you're like, what the hell is compound interest? Like the government's going to go blow anyway. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. And so the thing that, okay, so it became very clear to me that once I got a few of the things that I wanted, that A, didn't want to chase things forever, and B, I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
So okay, so you get the next watch, and then you get the next. I was like,
Yeah.
screw that. I want cash. I want not just cash. I want money. I want to save money.
Right.
And I looked at saving it as cash as a really finite way to save. In other words, it's not so liquid where, I mean, I could walk into the bank and take cash out, but at the same time, most things that you're going to purchase that are big ticket items, you got to put it back into the bank slowly and, do all that stuff. So anyhow, I would play this game and I would go into once a month, I'd go in my safety deposit box. I look forward to it. I'd pull out all the cash. I'd fucking take pictures of myself, the whole thing, bro. It was awesome. Yeah.
Really, so like Tampa mentality.
I finally had money. I made it. And I was like, yeah. And so what else was cool was, and this is something that happened, because you really, people always look for recognition in some ways.
Correct.
And the people that worked at the bank knew that I had cash, which is probably not a good thing. But like,
no.
I would see two of these employees out, and they'd always like treat me with a level of respect that was like they knew. Well, I guess they knew because they saw what I was, taking out of the account, and then I'm going into the room with this, so they know what's going on. Yeah. Anyhow, it was a lot of fun. But eventually I figured out, man, when you do want to buy something like a house, now you look like you're fucking laundering money.
Right. You got all this IRS loves that. Loves it.
So I was like, okay, this isn't going to work. And I'm mature enough now not to just, go out and spend this stuff. So, I started to do other things with the money. But I remember that, and that was a real fond memory because I just felt like, you come from, if you do have any of that mentality, it's cash is king. Meanwhile, you can't do shit with cash anymore.
Correct. Well, so kind of like my story with it. So basically, I was raised. So my dad was a chiropractor for years down there. He has a small business there in East Texas, and so my dad just ingrained that into me from the youngest age. Like, you save everything, and then my grandmother, who basically raised me, She was like this badass Texas woman who my grandfather owned gas stations there in Texarkana, and he did that. They lived super frugally and hid all the money in the cash, and cash all over the place. They put into whether it be guns, ammunition, gold, silver, all this stuff. And of course, my dad's a doomsday prepper as well, like very, very Texas, right? And so that's what we're taught. And so when I was like 20, I was making money. And so what I did was I had a shoebox of cash that I kept underneath my bed. It was a Nike shoebox. Nice. I would go buy a new pair of Nikes every month at a Nike store on sale for like $20, right? Which was amazing to me. And so then I would store my cash, like all this fucking cash in the shoebox, but underneath my bed. I would just keep it there. And then my other money, I was basically, this is me, oh, it doesn't matter. The government knows already. Like I was buying like guns and ammunition, or I would buy silver and gold and shit like that. And so I knew my business, but I didn't understand really like real estate. I didn't really understand compound interest. And so by the time I was like 23, I had a pretty decent amount of cash saved, like for my age and everything. Pretty decent amount, despite like the fact I was like learning tax law and everything else.
Yeah.
But so I did that. And so basically what happened was at Virginia, we have a lot of ticks. And so I ended up on a hike in Virginia, got bit by a tick. I got Lyme disease, destroyed me. And so then right when that happened, I was destroyed. And when you have Lyme disease, like your body's just destroyed. And so I couldn't really work for like 6 months. And then right when that happened, I just taken on new employees, all this stuff. That happened. Then COVID hit. I was like, oh my God. And so I was just like shot. So I was planning to sell my karate school and move down to Texas and restart in a larger market. I was planning to go to Dallas and go start again in Dallas. But so basically that happened. I ended up selling my school. I sold it to a infantry sergeant in the Marine Corps. One of my good friends, Tony, really awesome guy. One of my first black belts. My first black belt was actually lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, which is really fucking rad. I'll tell you a story that I'll draw back to that in a moment. But so that happened. And so I had Lyme disease. I was exhausted. I kind of went through the same thing where I've been working like 80 hours a week all the time, nonstop, go, 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 go. Yeah. So my passion, so I love music. I come from a family of musicians, actually, musicians and artists. So my brother-in-law is actually a renowned organist, like a classical trained organist, and travels the world as an organist. Really talented guy. My thing, though, was I was really into drawing and painting. And so randomly, when I sold my school, somebody was like, hey, come down to Charleston, South Carolina for a bit and just come and consult my karate schools. I ended up doing that, and then I started painting again in my free time. And randomly, my painting started selling, and I started working with some galleries and different stuff like that. And so I was like, oh my God, like I'm suddenly, like I sold a painting for like $3,000. I was like, holy shit, like I sold painting for real money. Like, holy moly. And so I basically took a year and I just traveled the country. I went and crashed different friends, all my friends I hadn't seen in years who like had the careers. Like my best friend's like a big time lawyer, and then other ones like racing cars, he's an engineer, stuff like that. I went and stay with them. I would just go paint in different parts of the country. I did that for about a year. And then I was like, well, this is good, but I was used to making karate money and like owning a business and everything. And so I was like, well, I really miss karate. I love it. So I can still paint, still do that. And so I was going to start over in Dallas, but after being in Dallas, I was like, this is fine, but like, I miss the ocean, man. I miss the ocean. I miss the sea. I miss the lifestyle, everything else. So I ended up moving back from Dallas. I moved back to Charleston, where I am now, and I live by the ocean where I can surf.
Charleston
like I went,
an amazing city, man. I love Charleston.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah. So I want to visit Tampa. Like Tampa sounds amazing as well. But like I just knew Charleston, and I loved Charleston. Like it's kind of spoke to me for some reason. And so I moved back, and I've been loving it. So I get to like go surfing, and like I run on the beach all the time. Or like I'm training for an Ironman at the moment. So like I'll go do my run at the beach, and I'll go hop in the ocean, swim in the ocean, like stuff like that. I love it. And then
I envy your energy, man. It is a wonderful trait to have this kind of energy for running. It sounds like you've been this way since you were a kid, and it's everything, man. It's everything. Because like I'm thinking like I do a lot between the hours of like 7 and 2 or 3. And then it's like I'm not really doing much,
Right.
I get a lot more done than I think most people. I'm very good at getting a lot done in a short period of time.
Same here.
So that's been. But it sounds like you have the endurance to do whatever the hell you want to do, and man, that's amazing. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to send you some cigars and stuff, because I saw that you talked about entrepreneurialism, you talked about mental health, and I think that cigars can go hand in hand with all of
Yes.
that, with learning, with progressing
Yes.
as a person, they slow you down for a minute.
Yes. Well, and something I was watching some of your videos, what I really like about your brand, your channel, is that you have really fucking solid branding. I love your branding. It's playful, it's fun, it's unique. I love when you talk about shit like, for example, is that me? Is that you?
No.
Hold on a second. That's me, man. There's
it's
sorry,
everyone.
that's it. It's Charleston. We have like every 5 minutes it's a flood warning. So like that's what was happening.
Okay.
But so besides that, my phone. I apologize, man. But back to what I was saying though. What I really love about your stuff. So I had a good friend who used actually because you're Cuban, right?
No.
Or you're part Cuban. Okay, no, I'm wrong. Okay.
No, I'm not Cuban.
Okay.
Not Cuban.
What? Do you mind me asking your heritage, or is that?
No, not at all. So I'm probably Russian and actually
no shit.
Latvian, which it was Russia at the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what else? I have like 12. That's like 70%, and then I'm like 12% English, 6% Irish, and yeah, both parents are Jewish. So I grew up with a little bit of Jewish culture, but not a ton of time in the temple. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, and a bunch of my close friends are Jewish, and so I have Jewish heritage going back like a while back. But I remember one time years ago, I had a Jewish friend. I said, "Yeah, I have a slight bit of Jewish heritage." Like, never say you're Jewish for any reason. Do not say it for any reason. You are not Jewish. I was like, okay, I won't say that. I won't try to claim it. I never try to claim it because I don't try to claim it. But where I was going with it, so
he blocked you from claiming Judaism.
My dad,
when we moved to Pennsylvania, they had like a bad skinhead problem in our town. And my dad was like, "Do not ever talk about being." And I was like, "Why?" Everyone like in New York, it's very accepted. He's like, "No, don't do that." You know, so that was kind of
I have a story. I maybe should not share it, but for the sake of it, it would be funny. So when I lived in Rhode Island, I lived in Providence, Rhode Island, right? So Rhode Island's very interesting, to say the least, right? Very unique culture. And so people in Rhode Island, so they assumed I was Jewish for reasons. We'll go with that. And so I would have people who would yell certain things that should not be yelled at anyone randomly when I was sitting on street corners. So basically, okay, so for context, so the way I grew my karate schools.
Did you have like a yarmulke on? Like what was going on?
For context, let me have context.
Okay.
So the way that I've grown karate schools and everything, we call it a VIPing, or otherwise it's clipboarding. What it is, it's a really hardcore version of soliciting or guerrilla marketing. So when I was in Rhode Island, what I would do is in Rhode Island, all the houses are really close together, particularly in Providence. So several things. I would go and I would figure out where the school drop off was, and when people was picking up their kids, I would set up a table with balloons. And I would make balloons for the kids as they're getting out of school. While of course, the parents there, with their permission, I'd be like, "Hey, can I give you a free pass to my karate school? Great. What's your name? What's your number? Great. When do you want to come in? When do you want to do this free month?" And so I grew a school that way. And so that's how I grew a school. I was sleeping back to karate school, rocking it, doing that. And that's how I grew a school. And so that's what I'm good at. So like the way when I have like kind of my energy and everything, like I'm legitimately this way all the time. Drives my family insane, drives my girlfriends insane. But besides that, but I try to keep it in check. But so that's how I grew my business. And so my business in Virginia, the same way, that's how I grew it. I started inside of a hotel meeting room, and I would go out during the day. I would go to the Kroger, Harris Teeter, the 7-Eleven, the bakery.
You just set up and start talking to people.
Yes. Wow. Or I'd go with the clipboard. I'd go.
No one can do that anymore. That's a lost talent.
So, if I may, I have my karate school here in Charleston, and the way I've grown my karate school, I won't go into details. My karate school, in the time I owned it, already is in the top 1% of karate schools in the country financially. In the time I've owned it in like the last 10 months. And I've grown my karate school. I'll go outside the Aldi and be like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris. Can I give you a free pass to my school? What's your name? What's your number?" Great.
Gosh.
And so I'll go to the park. I'll go to the playground. Okay, with parents' consent. I'm like, "Hey, is it fine if I give your child a balloon sword?" Great. Hey, by the way, I'm Chris. Can I give you a free pass to my karate school? Would you be interested? Like, yeah. I get their information. You follow up. It's hardcore sales. And so it's really what the job really is. It's hardcore sales, dude.
I could never do that. I would be like,
Yeah.
I can't, man. I would be
Yeah.
out there and I'm ballsy. Like I'll do stuff. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
could
I
tell.
would do it if that was the only way for me to make a living for my family. I absolutely would. But that is a talent that you have that very few people have, and it's something that used to be very common.
Right.
You're kind
Especially
of a pitch
Spanish
man.
culture.
Kind of a pitch man.
Well, and it's hardcore pitching, and the thing with it too is that people realize is that I have an excited personality, but I can kind of intimidate people a little bit if I let myself go. And so the way you do it is with class and being a gentleman. So I studied a lot of etiquette, stuff like that. So very respectful because again, you are the product you're selling. So yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, yes, sir, ma'am, stuff like that. And so, and like today, like 5 minutes ago before we started, like I had someone I talked to freaking like 6 months ago be like, hey, Chris, when we talked 6 months ago, not a good time. I really want to bring my son in. Can I bring my son next week? Like stuff like that. It's really beautiful. And so I've been in different areas, but the Charleston community I'm in has been amazing. I love, well, I'm in Mount Pleasant, but whatever. But I love it. I just have the best students in the world, the most supportive people. It's incredible. I love them so much. They take care of me so well. And that's what allows me to do what I do is to have these amazing people in my life and this amazing community and instructors and everything.
And so that's the thing, right? So I wrote a book, and I didn't write a book because I want to become some famous author or anything. I wrote a book because I believe that Privada kind of by accident got involved in a business style that I think is the future of e-commerce, which is it's very much what you're doing at your schools. You're serving a community. And you're the authority or the professional in that specific subject or thing. And so what my thing, it's called real communal commerce. And basically what we're doing is we're looking at niches that we love, right? You have to love like cigars. I loved cigars. I learned everything I possibly could. I studied. So I already had that like a higher ranking authority score on the subject. And then so when I started to market cigars, like it was easy for me to be able to talk about my product. And once I started getting thank you notes from people, I started saying, oh my God, like these people love this as much as I do. So I want to build a relationship with them and serve them. And it's daunting, to do online because there's thousands of people. But you know what? They don't all email you at once. They don't all email you the same day. They don't all email you the same week. And you can have these conversations over a couple of days. People understand when it takes a day to get back to them. But normally, speed is the name of my game. I like to reply to them as soon as possible. So I'm basically your cigar concierge, and my people are trained to be cigar concierges so that you always make a great purchase here. The box comes to you. It's the point is it's about serving a community, whether it's locally or nationally online. That's what it really comes down to. And it sounds like you enjoy serving people and have figured out that not only is serving people the most gratifying thing you can do, it's also extremely profitable. It makes money. It makes you valuable to them.
Well, I watched your video. And that's why I got excited when you reached out because I watched your content and everything. And then coincidentally, some of my close friends work in the cigar industry. And so at cigar reps and everything, like one of my good friends, Franklin, he's for El Septimo, really famous lighter, great cigars, great brand, one of the most polite, coolest guys I ever met. And back to what I was saying though, is that what I loved about, I grew up homeschooled, so I always had, for years, I had difficulty making friends. I had difficulty connecting with people. Like when I was a kid, if I introduced myself to somebody, it would be like,
wow.
Like I would shake a hand like this because like if when you go to church and you shake hands at church, I was terrified of people. I remember one time as a child, I had to move to a different pew to sit with my family. And rather than walking past the family who's sitting next to me, I slid underneath the pew as an 11-year-old child. And like,
what changed?
Well, so what happened was, let me go a story. So when I was a kid, I was always really strong, but I was fat. I would eat nothing but like cake and like crap and everything. And I have 7 sisters, and they're amazing. 7, yes, amazing, right? Homeschool family, dude. Christian homeschool family from Texas. 7 sisters. And so they're these amazing cooks, musicians. My sister Laura, oh my God, just play piano all day. Like, talk about a blessed family, right? But besides that, so they would, 7 sisters, they feed you very well, right? Which is a good problem to have. But I decided to be fed very, very well all the time. And so it showed. And so what happened was that several things. One was that my dad was like, son, I'm proud of you, but I love you. You're fat. That's okay, but you gotta be strong, kiddo. We got to get you in shape. You need something. So when I went to visit, so my parents were divorced. My dad was in Texas, mom was in Virginia. So I was used to traveling all the time, which is why my lifestyle as an adult, I travel constantly. I'm actually buying a house back in Dallas at the moment. I have a place here, and so I rent here in Charleston. I'm getting a place back in Dallas to go to come to my art studio and go back there on the weekends. But besides that, so like once a month or whatever. But so what happened was my dad was like, son, you can't look people in the eye. You need confidence. And so randomly one summer he said, I signed you up for Kung Fu classes. You're taking class every single day, multiple classes a day, because you're going to be bad to the bone. And when I went in for my first class. I hate every second of this. I hate this. I literally said, Dad, I will clean the toilets. I'll go to your office and clean your building. I'll do anything to never go back again. And he said, son, I paid for it. You're doing it. And so what happened was I started doing martial arts, and this guy, and again, he taught me for a month, but didn't realize, I built connected over the years, but like he didn't realize how he built my confidence. He taught me I could look someone in the eye. I could say, hey, I'm Chris. Say it proudly. I could introduce myself to someone. I could go up to someone and say, hey, I'm Chris. How are you? Hope you're having a beautiful day, stuff like that. And it taught me, like, I could work out, I could see results. It taught me that if I had a goal, if I worked hard enough, I trained hard enough, I could accomplish what I put my mind to. And that to me was incredible. And so eventually, then coincidentally, I had this dream. I wanted to have karate schools or something. Like, so I wanted to be an artist, or I wanted to do martial arts, or I wanted to have a winery. That was my dream. Even if I was going to have a winery. Interesting enough, right? And so, but let me finish the story. So with it, I went from being the shyest kid you ever met to I built confidence. Like, wait a second, like a button click, like a light bulb, boom, I can talk to people and people actually like me. I grew up with no self-esteem. I thought no one liked me. No one cared about me. I had this, like, I've had depression my entire life. Runs in my family. And so I thought I was like this person that no one cared about. And it taught me that, wait a second, if I legitimately care about other people, if I reciprocate gratitude, if I care about others, they care about me, and I can do my best, and I can, have a light in the world, and not as to change the world, but I can at least help my community, and that's what really, really changed my life. And so when I was 16 or 17, I'm someone who I go a little bit hard. I'm a little obsessive, if you cannot tell. And so what happened was that when my instructor eventually, I was training religiously because I decided I didn't want to be fat anymore. So I decided I'm going to get in ridiculous shape. I watched Pump Me Up, the Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary on repeat all the time. I was watching Six Pack Shortcut on YouTube all the time. I started working out constantly.
Was that Stepani, Jim Stepani? Is that who that was?
Yes.
He's great. I enjoyed a lot of his content, man.
The towel workout, like, this is a towel. Use a towel. You flex a towel, or you'll get abs. Do that. This is how you flex a shoulder. Use a towel.
I don't know if it's the same guy. Jim Stepani. He's covered in tattoos. Is that the same guy?
Different one. It's different. Is he the bar guy?
He's shortcut to shred, I think was his. I never followed it, but I was just like, this guy's cool. I feel like he knows, like, this is somewhat scientific. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of those guys are also in your area, like in Tampa or Orlando or Miami, like a lot of the big fitness influence, especially Miami, right? But and a lot of my martial arts friends are all in that area as well. So I go and do training like there in Jacksonville, which is basically Georgia, but whatever. Jacksonville and Orlando and different places. But yeah, no, back to it though. Basically, martial arts, it taught me I could have community, I could give back. It taught me that I could learn a skill and have a service. And so I say it, the reason I'm so passionate about martial arts is because I went from being like the lowest of the low. I went from being the kid, like every kid would make fun of me, and every kid would be like, he's the one, he's going to grow up and do something terrible. He's going to destroy his life. He's going to be a drug addict or something. And I kind of was like, wait a second, they're probably right about that. And I need to change fast because I need to do something with my life. And so it also, for me, like, I'm a Christian. So for me, with my faith, I believe that you're supposed to go out and help other people. I believe that your faith is supposed to reciprocate by your actions, the way you hold yourself, everything like that. Which if you're not with, I don't care. But it's something where I went, okay, I feel like my life is meant to be something bigger. Maybe I'm not supposed to conquer the world, but I can at least conquer my day. I can help my community. I can be the best version of myself. And as long as I'm the best version of myself, things will work out. And so with martial arts, like I said,
by the way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. But that's why
you changed your what is it? You changed your
mindset.
Yeah, mindset. There's a word that this guy I always used to listen to would use for this. It's just it means the same thing. It's just the way that you see the world and how you're gonna kind of react to it or whatever. But anyway, that's really awesome, man. Congratulations on that. It's truly a phenomenal story. I think the one thing that I just want to double down on with the service thing is I think the reason why I find it so like amazing is because I think that everything that I was taught about making money was kind of like the opposite. Like it's this self-serving thing.
Yes.
And I guess it is, right? You want to make money so that you can get yourself nice things and a nice life, or be more secure. But the way to really make money is to serve as many people as you possibly can. The more people you can serve, like Jeff Bezos serves more people than anyone, and he's like probably the richest or second richest man in the world because he's serving. His thing that he set up is serving the most amount of people.
Well, and so that's why. So for me, my dream, because I was homeschooled, so I did nothing but watch YouTube all day. I watched YouTube and stuff like that, and kind of dream, and read books all the time, lots of literature and stuff like that. I was raised. The guy my mom's with, he teaches Dostoevsky and Dante and Shakespeare. So I was reading that from a young age, which is like kind of wild, but whatever. And like classic, he also like writes all these like classic film reviews. I was watching all these like classic art house films from a young age, but whatever. But with what you're saying though, is that what I like about your business, what I saw, is I love the fact that you're building a community, that you are building a community, and I've been smoking cigars since I was about 18 years old now, and it's something that the very few things in life I truly love. I truly love cigars, and just things like, if I may, your note card here, stuff like this is so beautiful because even for me, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh shoot! So like, this is my Stallone here. I'm looking at Nicaraguan. It's a Rapper's Broadleaf, and it just educates and makes me think about it more. And it provides that little bit of service that you don't think that a lot of people wouldn't think is that important, but it adds so much more value than you'd realize. But something too, even when I got your package, when I opened it, like the fact that like your brand, the Privada brand right there in the box and everything, like I have that box still. Like, that's a pretty damn cool box. Like I love that.
And you don't need a humidor. The bat, like we go the extra mile to make sure that people don't have to like have anything else. When we send it to you, it's fresh, it's ready to go, it's ripe, and it can stay that way right in the package we send it to you.
And that's why I love it. Well, so something for me for business wise, I used to be, and I'm still very money driven, if you can't tell, but I was very like selfishly money driven for years, where I was kind of like, make myself wealthy, stuff like this. And what really changed is like, wait a second, is that you have to build the life you want. You have to do what you're passionate about. You have to do what you love. And if you're really serving people, that means I want to give people the quality that I want for myself. I want to treat people the way I be treated. And I want to give them something that I'm legitimately proud of. And so when I see like just your content, or like, okay, like I was watching your video about your cease and desist letter. I fucking loved it. I hope I'm not embarrassing you. I fucking loved it because it's just so candid. It's funny. You're just like, it's just fucking funny as hell. The same things happened to me numerous times. I get so many goddamn, so many damn cease and desist letters, dude. Like it's ridiculous, and they're all bullshit, by the way. They're all fucking bullshit. But seeing that, like I just love it. It's charming. I love you showing the journey. It's just fun. It's so cool.
Showing the journey is a big part of it, and it is difficult sometimes because you want to play PR, but at the same time, I believe that my people are so in tune with the business that I really want them to know exactly what's going on.
And that's so cool. And so if I may, so you are starting, it is a alcohol line, it's spirit. So if I'm not mistaken, is it bourbon mostly? Am I correct? Yes. I've been staring at those bottles along with your sculptures out there, which I fucking love. Nice.
So this is Privada Cigar Club bourbon. This is Series 1. And this is a high rye bourbon bottled or distilled
good
by
Lord.
MGP in Indiana, and they make world-class stuff for some of your favorite bourbon brands. And so the reason why it came about was because starting a bourbon brand seemed very cocky to me, or like just like
Right.
overly confident. The reason
Right.
why we did it was not necessarily become the biggest selling bourbon brand, but it was because we started to age our cigars in bourbon barrels, ex-bourbon barrels, and we
Which is
were
amazing, by the way.
buying these empty bourbon barrels, and I was like, well, they're just going to buy the cigar and then pair it with bourbon. Why not make the bourbon in the
Yeah.
bottle and the bourbon that was in the barrel the same bourbon? And so it's a package thing. You get 5 cigars and the bottle. Everyone chips in $20 or whatever. There you go.
Which I mean,
and you got you got a good situation there, right? Like that's a party on Friday night for you and 4 friends. Everyone throws in $20, gets a cigar, a couple of sips of bourbon,
Monday night, brother.
happy.
Monday night.
There you go. Yeah, whatever.
Every day, Monday morning. Let's rock, man. Well, so okay. So I don't drink much alcohol. I have Lyme disease, so my body does not handle alcohol well anymore. But something with me was this cigar is like when you dip your cigar in a bourbon. It's just so blissful and amazing. It's just like
so people in cigar, like hardcore people in cigars, are like hate that. They hate that.
Oh no! Come on,
cigars. Oh yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, for
Come
sure.
on. Don't be a snob. Don't be a snob.
I listen, to each their own. We do what we want to do. In the 90s, I know people did that a lot. People liked it. Whatever. Look, the whole thing with cigars is you're going to have this subset of people that are it's just like martial arts. You're going to have these people that are so hardcore into it. Then you're going to have the next group that want to be able to defend themselves, right? And that's probably the majority.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And so the hardcore guys look at those guys like, they're not really into it kind of thing. So there's always that thing within these hobbies. But, the cool thing about cigars is the mental relaxation of it. It's the meditation of it. It's the taking that time. It makes you wiser to take that hour at the end of a day to digest what happened that day,
Well, and so I was watching your video. So you mentioned that you like to smoke alone, or you like to smoke with like one-on-one with a friend, if I may. So I'm similar that way. So for me, I tend to wake up about 5 or 6 in the morning, and so I get my books, get my journal, make my plans, and as I do that, I smoke a cigar. And so what I often do is I'll go sit by the beach on a bench by the ocean, watch the waves, watch the sunrise, smoke my cigar. And so for me, I'm so fast paced. It helps me process. It helps me just appreciate the moment. It helps me appreciate just nature, just the sunrise, this beauty, everything. Yes. And so for me, and so the big thing too with cigars, and you may disagree, but so like Joe Rogan has a bit where he's like, "Oh, the nicotine in a cigar, it's amazing." It's like, oh, that's not really. I mean, maybe that's not why I smoke a cigar. Like, I don't touch really other tobacco besides cigars.
Nicotine. I don't want to get sick.
Right. Well, so for me, having that time, like as a ritual, to sit still, to be still, to slow down, to appreciate what you have, to be grateful, to enjoy a beautiful cigar, enjoy the stogie, enjoy the flavor, enjoy the smoke, and just sit there and with your thoughts, I think, especially if you're a guy, is so damn powerful. I mean, I think so much, especially with the whole hustle culture thing and everything else, of go, 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 go. I think so much, I'm sure you'd agree, so much is the ability to slow down and take care of yourself. And so
stillness, it forces stillness. And then the thing with Privada is we take it a little step further where we really want to know more about the mystery of where this came from, why it happened, and so we get those stories. We go to Costa Rica, we go to Nicaragua, we go to DR.
So jealous.
And we see these people that are actually making these products, not just the brands that are here in America that say, "Oh, this is my brand," but we go to the people that actually make the cigar, and it's really gratifying to watch their work and tell their story. It makes this even more enjoyable.
Well, and so that's the whole thing, like with marketing too, like with martial arts. Like I sell like my memberships are pretty damn expensive. So I sell really like high price memberships, right? So we're like $500, $600, $700, stuff like that is what people pay me every month normally. And so in order to do that, you have to give a super high quality of service in order to do that. And so like with your business, so what I like so much about your business compared to like every other cigar company I see is the stories you tell. And so just watching the videos of you going to the factory there in Nicaragua, or I guess the Dominican Republic, or like I watched the one where you're eating the pork. He raised the pigs. You're eating the pork and everything. I'm just like, that's so damn. And then you see the story. You see, like, for me, like, I do art. I love art. I love painting. Because art, if it's done well to me, it invokes emotion. It shows the joy from the artist. And you can always tell if the artist was having fun or if it was forced. If the artist was loving what they did or if it was forced. And that's why I really love about what you're doing and like your stories you tell, because it just seems so joyful, so fun, the energy, the story. It makes me want to buy your shit. Like, that's maybe a blunt way of putting it, but it makes me want to support your business more and recommend it. In fact, I have friends, like, for example, I have a friend back in Michigan. He's a dad. He's a sales guy, works really hard, great guy. And he loves cigars too. Somebody we bond over, ex-Marine, one of the coolest guys I know. And nice. So I was like, you know what? Like, fuck, I'm going to send Mike. Like, I'm going to get a subscription with you and just, like, get Mike a subscription. And, like, he doesn't smoke like I do every day, but he'll enjoy on a weekend. Really cool. He needs that time. And so I'm going to go send Mike some shit. And he's not big, like.
It's a great gift, too. And it's affordable.
Yes.
It doesn't break the bank. It's an affordable luxury. People don't realize how difficult it is to actually make cigars. It takes years to make a good cigar. So there's a lot involved in. I think there must have been some sort of a void because our business really took off exponentially once the word got out because of these stories and because of giving the background on the actual cigars and tobaccos and the makers. So.
So I was chatting with my friend who works in the cigar business. And Franklin, really fucking cool guy. And I asked him about you. We had a cigar. He was visiting Charleston last weekend. So we sit down, we had a cigar and just bonded. We hadn't seen each other in like 5 years. It was great. And so we're chatting. And he was saying like, yeah, like Privada's done something that many others have tried, but really no one has lasted like Privada has. It's really impressive that you've been able to pull off what many people have not been able to pull off. And he was talking about like the way, like, you get your orders, everything else, stuff like that. And it's a really cool story. And so, would you mind sharing some of that, or no? Is that fine with you? Share a little bit about your business?
For sure. I'll try to give you the brief, synopsis of it. But basically, I started collecting cigars. I got a wholesale license, and then I started buying even more cigars. And I was convinced that these cigars were going to be very expensive one day. I really thought the resale value was going to be tremendous. And then I had to sell them because I was having to move around a little bit, which you can relate to. And
yes, sir.
I didn't have the space to keep these cigars anymore. And so I started trying to sell them, and I had all limited edition stuff. No one would give me, the money that I felt they were worth. And no one really even wanted to pay me MSRP on these things. So I decided two things. One, subscriptions were really hot at the time. This is 2016, 17.
Yes.
And two,
I remember well.
I would tell people why these cigars were so special, so that while they're smoking them, maybe they didn't value them beforehand, but they'll have value to the person after or during the smoking experience. And so I did that, and it didn't take off at first, but then I got a call from a guy on YouTube who was like, hey, now, did you get the regular monthly box with the 3 cards?
So you sent me Brian's box. So it was your box. So you sent me one. It had the September one, and it had, I had the September box. I had 4 cigars. Had this one sheet here.
I'm going to send you the Privada Cigar Club box next, though.
Thank you. You're too kind.
That is where I really put all my time and energy into. And those are full stories on there. This is.
Oh my God! Holy moly, dude!
Yeah. So that's the Holy story. Moly, dude. And then that's the tasting notes, pairing notes, and a couple of other pieces of information about the cigar. So I'll send you one of those boxes so you can get the full experience. And so I guess there was a void. I guess people were looking for something more experiential in cigars. And so when they found out about us, it really took off, and we're very fortunate for that.
Well, and would you agree, like, so for me, and I'll get to that in a moment, but for me, so the biggest thing with cigars is, so I got cigars because I wanted to be like my grandfather. My grandfathers, they're my heroes. This badass, one was a Northeastern guy, the other was this badass Texan guy, business owner, the other was this badass Northeastern factory worker. Yeah. Like, I go to work in short sleeves and a t-shirt in 20 degrees every day because I'm a badass. Like, my grandfather, way too cool. And so he loved cigars. He just loved them. And I remember seeing that and being like, my heroes are like Patton and Winston Churchill and stuff like that. And so, maybe it's a little bit of the, maybe that inspired it. But I remember I just, when I was about 18, because it was still legal, you could buy tobacco at 18 then. And I remember I had my first school. I was stressed on my mind. I was freaking out. I had no idea what I was doing. I was like, oh my gosh. I was actually homeless for a little bit. I slept on my car to get my school going, but whatever.
Wow.
But and then I slept in the hotel. I taught classes in. I would teach classes in the day and mark and sell in the day, but whatever. But so I was like, dude, I'm going hard. I need something for myself. And so I remember I went down to I think it was a vape shop, but they had cigars. And the guy was like, hey, try Romeo and Julieta. This is what all the high school graduates get for high school graduation. It won't knock your sock up too much. Just try it out. I remember I sat on the porch of my friend's house and just smoked a cigar and got really, really sick. But when I smoked it, I was like, this is wonderful. I love this. And I just felt like I finally had something for me. And so I didn't smoke what I do now, probably just because of money and everything. But I just fell in love with the experience of it. I fell in love with, I craved the solitude. I craved that time. And then eventually, what happened was that, I always had difficulty making friends. And when I started going to cigar lounges, I realized so many of the guys at cigar lounges were like-minded people. I felt like I had brothers already. And I meet people with different experiences of life. And also meet people who are so much more successful than me as well. And it's like this great, this even playing field where you just go and bond with people regardless of different experiences or anything else. And so for me, that was so beautiful is all the relationships I built. And whenever I'd go to a new city, I would go and visit a cigar lounge and just sit down, kind of empty my cup and just learn from people, make friends, make connections. This is kind of the funny thing is for me, everyone's like, I kind of weirdly know everyone. And everyone's like, how do you know everybody? You know everyone. I'm like, well, military, all my friends like Green Berets, bullshit like that. And I have all this train with them and I train with everyone, but also cigars because I have cigars. It's you just have something to bond over. And generally, from my experience, you meet someone with cigars and they're into art or they're into movies or they're into cars or doing stuff with their hands or just the finer things in life or bourbon, whatever it may be. And so just that connection you build. And so if I may, I got to tell the story before I forget. So yesterday, I went to a new cigar lounge in town. I've never been to it before. It was owned by a former Green Beret. And so I realized I knew some of my friends. So I had to go in and check it out. So I went in and just me and the lady there. I'm smoking a cigar and, whatever. And this guy comes in and he is an elderly gentleman and he has a Vietnam vet hat. And he's wearing a big fishing jacket. The big fishing jacket with the pockets everywhere and stuff like that. Wearing this giant fishing jacket. And so, and again, I didn't know until I told him he used to be a Marine drill sergeant. And in fact, he was a squad leader for the kill teams in Vietnam. This guy, he's not just badass. This guy is wow. Holy shit. This guy, his pinky toe is more man than I am. Besides that. But so I'm talking to this guy and he says, yeah, man, every day I'm old now. I'm old and fat now. So what I do is I wake up every morning, I have my humidor with 1,500 cigars in it, grab a handful, stash it in. I go about my day. He says, and so I asked him, hey, can I just look at what you got? I'm just curious, because you have good taste. He's like, yeah. In fact, here, have this one. And he hands me a cigar, if I may. Again, you know him from our order history. It's true. He hands me a cigar, and if you see, it's Team Z, Privada Cigar Club. Which again, I always was tempted to smoke this one step. I want to honor your box, but still, he gave this to me. I was like, "Holy shit, dude! Holy shit! I'm talking to Brian tomorrow. No fucking way, man! It's fucking awesome." But he gave me the cigar. Made me feel so fucking special. We had a beautiful conversation. He told me about his military history, and then it was fucking crazy. I'm talking to him. I told him, yeah, my first black belt was Lieutenant Colonel in the Marines. His name was So-So. He goes, wait a second, So-So? I know Jason. I served with his father. Badass motherfucker. You Jason? He was your black belt? You look like a fucking 12-year-old girl. I know I look like a 12-year-old girl. He taught classes from me. Show me a picture of him. I showed him a picture. Holy shit, I know this man. What the fuck, man? This fucking... And we had all these mutual friends, had this beautiful life story, and we just bonded. We smoked a cigar. He gave this to me. And just had this moment. That's what it's all about, right?
The power of cigars. The power of cigars.
But we just bonded over that. And that's just and, again, this guy, this guy had a story where he had a sniper who's lighting fire on his team one day. And he's a squad leader. He's like, I'm going to kill that guy. And so, getting rough, I'm sorry. But again, cool guy. But he's like, gotta take care of that guy. He's lighting fire on my team. He's a lousy shot, but I gotta take care of this guy. And so he had a story where he went to the bushes saw a guy raise his rifle, pop, 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 took him out, right? And so he took his Mosin Nagant sniper rifle, and back then you could still carry it through the LA airport. So he told him he brought his war trophy with him, carrying it like posted this way to the LA airport. And everyone kept distance as he carried his trophy, but he brought it back to America and then gave it to a friend here in town. But besides that, but just like this guy who is just the coolest guy, and the guy's also an artist. He's like he makes hand carved canes, like the coolest shit in the world. Right, this guy's amazing. This super thoughtful, intellectual, sharp guy. He's 74 years old. But he talks like he's 25. He's so sharp. But just the fact that, like, where else do I get an opportunity to just bond with someone like that, to have just sit down and talk for 2 hours? I'm like, I need someone to talk to. I need to like learn from somebody and just learn, hear his life, be inspired, and just be like, you badass motherfucker. I am so fucking grateful to have people like you in this world.
It's the great equalizer, and it's part of what makes cigars so special, and it's part of what makes my job so amazing, is getting to be able to serve people like him and people like you, people of all walks of life that understand the importance of that stillness, for a period of the day.
So this, I can see in your videos, but like 1 to like 10 to 11, like how much do you love your 10 to 11? How much do you love your job? Like I see what you do. I know there's stress and bullshit. Like whenever people say if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. Total bullshit. Like there's always bullshit to deal with. But like what you do seems like fucking spectacular. It seems like it's like way too much fun.
I don't think I could love what I do more. You are correct. There's as a business grows, it creates job, it creates real work, it creates stress, it creates legal stuff, accounting stuff. I mean, we have a collection of 3 million, 2 point something million cigars, and they're all aging. I didn't think about that. Dude. I mean, it's kind of a, if something happened to the product, the business could go under. If I never really thought about that. I also didn't know that in businesses like this, you don't just pay when you profit. You pay whenever, like, so if I buy cigars, I'm still paying the taxes on that as earned.
Right.
And people don't realize that. And so I have like a coming to Jesus moment where we had to pay like $1 million in taxes because.
Holy moly, dude.
Yeah, because my old accountant was doing it using the cash method, and we needed to be, because of the size of our business, in a different method, and so we had to get caught up, and so we did that last year. That was tough, so not only didn't I make money, I lost money last year. Like, so you gotta love what you do. Yes, there's stress. Yes, those cigars are probably my life savings, and so I'm very careful about the way that they're protected and everything, and that's part of the reason why they come smoking so well, because they're just perfectly stored.
Did that terrify you when that happened?
Yeah, what's that?
When you got that bill, that terrify you? Were like, like, did it freak you out for a moment, and were you just like
angry? I was angry for about 2 weeks.
I relate.
Yeah, I was very frustrated.
$1 million is, that's decent amount of change right there. Decent amount of cash right there. That's probably, but you also, like, as a war story, like, imagine like when you're like 80 telling the story to your kids, because like you have a kid, correct? You have a kid. You have multiple kids. I mean, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but
I have one child, a daughter. She's almost 6 years old.
Oh, congratulations. It's beautiful. That's the best age of all time, man.
Yeah.
You fucking cherish every moment. Like, enjoy while it lasts. It's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I know. We are. She's growing up really fast, though. She's in kindergarten and, like, learning life lessons that, like, we're just like, I thought this would be much later in life. Like, it's a lot of, relationship stuff and, so. Well, man, I'm proud of you. I just want you to know that I'm proud of you, coming from where you come from, and accomplishing what you've accomplished, and being such a positive inspiration online to people. You're also very transparent. I see that in your videos, and I love that.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
To me, you really shine, and I'm glad that I got to send you some cigars to enjoy. I'm going to send you some more, and whatever I can do to help you along your journey for Entrepreneurial or cigars, please, contact me anytime you have my info.
Please, man. I would just love to learn more too. Like, you seem to have so much knowledge and stuff like that, and I have so much to learn.
You guys on the journey with me. The cameras are with us 24/7. We're going places. We're seeing things. We're learning things from people that we're not supposed to know. It's an awesome industry,
and it's
had a very, big wall between what we know as consumers and what the industry inner workings are.
Yeah.
And so it's been cool kind of hammer and chiseling that wall away to where we're now actually looking at the real thing and getting the real products and understanding what we're getting. And so we know what we like a little more and that kind of thing.
Yeah, just behind the curtain, seeing all the workings. Well, and that's what I love about watching your channel too, because you have such a cool channel, and like the production value and everything's so good as well. Like, I just get my phone and start talking, right? But they're like, you have such a cool channel because you're like the stories you tell are so well, like they feel very intimate to me in a cool way, and just like the fun energy of it, or just like watching like one, like when you go to LA and smoke a cigar in LA, or like when you just like go to the factory in Cuba, wherever the hell it is. Like,
I'm the luckiest guy in the world to get to be able to serve all these people. Half of them are my actual friends now, and
awesome.
It's really cool to build relationships like this. So I appreciate the fact that you're tuning in, and I am also a fan of yours, and I am tuning into your videos as well.
Thank you, man. It means
was
a lot.
Great.
It really
Let's
does.
do this again sometime soon, and I just
That'd be
appreciate you
awesome,
having
man.
me on your channel, man. It means a lot to me.
Well, I am honored to have you on. It's a pleasure and a blessing. Thank you, sir. It's been beautiful to meet you in person finally. Well, sort of in person. It works. It's like this is the same thing, but like it's really cool, and I have a lot of admiration. I fucking love what you do. It's too cool. Pardon me for swearing so much. Like
it's all
I
good.
work with kids, so I kind of like I let it all out at the moment. but
I'm normally the one doing the cursing, so I'm relieved.
Don't let your 6-year-old daughter hear this. Besides that,
statesman here, a little polished. I'm not cursing every 2 minutes.
A man of the people. A man of the people. A man of the people is what you are. A man of the people.
That's right.
But no, that's a cool man.
I appreciate you, and I wish you the best of luck. I'm here, and I'm in your corner, and thank you for everything.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. Amazing having you on. It's an honor. I'll let you get about your day. Let me know when your whiskey and everything comes out. I'll make sure some people get it, and it'll be outstanding, man. Thank you for this.